All right, we are back with another pick'em video, and today we have a huge slate for this week's standards. 3 games. It's been a very slow week with the in-season tournament going on. Great games overall, honestly, entertaining games. NBA Cup games, NBA in-season tournament games continue to be pretty solid basketball. So I hope it's here to stay, and it's entertaining to watch these games, even with the crazy court colors and things like that. We've just been getting good basketball, less fouls calls, and all that different stuff. But tiny slates throughout the whole week until tomorrow, where we actually have a huge slate. But I do have some good value in today's games. I think we just learned that Jason Tatum is out. He was going to be a guy that I was attacking because his lines were really low over on stuff like PrizePicks, probably because they assumed he wasn't going to play. I thought he was going to play, or even if he wasn't going to play, I thought the value was there enough to go ahead and play him. But he got ruled out, so we're going to pivot from him. Hopefully some Celtics lines come up as we do this video. But other than that, I've still got 4 plays, if not. So I'm going to attack some PrizePicks value. If you guys are new around here, definitely go ahead and subscribe. Leave the video a like, comment something down below. We're going to go over hit rates, matchups, market value, any sort of injury news, and if that plays into the equation. And just jump right into things. All right, so jumping into the PrizePicks desktop screen here. First of all, if you're not on PrizePicks and you want to tail some of these plays, go ahead and use code RichPicks when signing up. When you do that, all you got to do is bet $5, and they're going to load your account up with $50. So use that code, bet $5, and you're going to load up with $50 to start off your PrizePicks journey. But let's start off with the first play here, and it's going to be chronological here. We'll start with the first game. And it's going to be RJ Barrett for the Toronto Raptors. I'm in the first half tab. I want to be on the full game tab. And we're going to be going under his points at 24.5. This is a popular play, probably on the over, I would think. Maybe on the under. I'm not totally sure. They don't tell you that. That's why I don't love the popular tab over on PrizePicks. But I'm taking the under here. He does have a really good history against playing Miami, and Scotty Barnes is not in this game too, so you might probably be looking at the over here if you just had those two things. But if there's one thing we've learned about RJ this season so far, he's a Canadian guy. He plays in Toronto, Canada, and when he's home, he's a totally different player than when he is away. We're going to take a look at that on our outlier page over here. So 24.5 points. Again, we are looking at the under. He's gone under in 55% of games so far this year. You can see Miami's defense allowed the 7th least amount of points in the league, 109.3. So pretty good top 30% defense in the league, which we like to see in an under situation. And head-to-head, we're not going to like here because the last 4 matchups he's gone over this, 37 against them in the beginning of December. That was about 2 weeks ago. And then also this year had 25 points against them. Both these games, I guess they've split so far 1-1 in terms of the standings for them. But yeah, RJ's played really well against this team, under in most of the games so far this year, and a good defense against Miami, kind of a 50-50 line when you think about it like that. But the biggest reason I like this under is because he is away. When you look at away games here, he's under in 73% of games. A lot of these games well under. In 2 of these games, he crept over with 25, one of those games being in Miami. So I like the under potential here on the road. He doesn't shoot as well. You can see his field goal percentage drops to 40% as opposed to his normal for the entire year, 46%. So it doesn't shoot as well on the road. And then in terms of games without Scotty Barnes, yes, he's going to get a little bit more volume, but he's also going to be the focal point of the Miami defense here. Games without Scotty Barnes, the same thing, 6 of 11 games under in 55%. So it stays about the same. So I'm liking this RJ line on the under. Again, kind of fading him on away games, have been doing that and going to him in home games. He's looked really good at home. And Miami's defense, hopefully they step up and can slow him down today while he's the focal point of the offense on the Toronto side of things with no Scotty Barnes. Let's take a look at my connection being interrupted, but let's take a look at DG Fantasy, kind of look at some market value. This one's not too crazy on the, I guess they like his PRA on the over, but we're looking at his points. Let's go to RJ Barrett here. This is just showing us market value here, and they do like the under market value-wise, minus 154 on the under in Pinnacle. A couple books already have this at 23.5. Anyone that's got him at 24.5, they're favoring the under. Bovada and Pinnacle, minus 150s on the under. Really, really good value, I guess. So this has been moving along. I wouldn't be surprised eventually if this closes at 24, 23.5 on most places. So RJ at away situations, really good opportunity to fade him. We're taking the under on 24.5 points for the first play. Then moving along to our second play here, of course, the one I was just talking about just got bumped, but I think Terry Rozier is getting a little disrespected here. I wanted to go to his 3.5 field goals made. That is so low. Yes, he's losing minutes. Yes, he's coming off the bench now, Duncan Robinson into the starting lineup. But Rozier at 3.5 field goals made against a Toronto team and Miami's home. That was just a little bit too low for me, and we can see that did, of course, just get bumped up here. So I'm not going to go to his 10.5 points. I'm not going to go to his PRA, even though I'd like to. They just sound a little bit too low to me. I'll probably pivot to his best value play on PrizePicks right now, which seems to be on the over. I mean, you could do first quarter points if you want to do that, but I'm going to look at his points and assists at 12.5. That's probably where I'll play it. Again, just because of the market value. I do think he can score 15 points today, again, in a matchup against Toronto, who doesn't have the best defense in the world. So we're going to pivot here. Again, I really like that 3.5 field goal is made. That's where we played it in the Discord about 30 minutes ago or an hour ago or so. And yeah, 12.5 points and assists, pretty similar to his points line. Hopefully he can chip in with a couple assists here. But let's take a look at Terry Rozier. Obviously, he's been going over this a ton. His role has changed. He's off the bench now, not getting a ton of minutes. But let's take a look at his 12.5 points and assists. And again, the reason I like this one is because he is at home. You can see a lot of these games missing this by 0.5. Again, I'm pivoting here, so this is the first time I'm looking at the 12.5 points and assist line, but same difference here. I do like the fact that he can crush this line. We know he can. He's going up against a team that he's played really well against in the past. Again, played these guys twice already. Different situations. No, he was actually coming off the bench in both these situations, so that's good data points to look at too. So it's a team he's played well against, 25th ranked in terms of points allowed. A lot of points to be had, and Scotty Barnes not on this team, who's a great defender. Terry Rozier, better situation there. Take a look at home games, 8 of 9 games. That's the biggest thing I wanted to point out for today. Again, he moved to the bench, I think, on November 15th or so. So these are all games he's been coming off the bench. You can see his minutes are still down in these games, but he's able to come off the bench and be a little bit more efficient. That's kind of been the story of him moving to that reserve role. He's been a lot more efficient because he was not shooting very well with the volume he was getting. Now he shoots a little bit less, but he's knocking them down, kind of running that second unit. So I still like Rozier here. Again, best market value play on PrizePicks would be his 12.5 points and assists. I do like his points line. Maybe if you want to throw this into like a parlay and get his points down to like 10 or something, you can knock it down, make sure he gets at least 10 points. I do think he's going to be doing this. And again, more of a 50-50 line on his points. That's the only reason I'm going to his points and assists here. Market value on the RotoWire projection model. Let's see what Rozier's looking like. They do like his over points and rebounds. They like his over. They like his over on points and assists. They like his over pretty much on everything here. And again, I do think his points lines are just a little bit too low. I think Rozier is going to do it against a weaker defense today. So I really like that 3.5 field goals made. Had to pivot a little bit, but this one's looking pretty good at 12.5 points and assists. And then while this field goals made line is kind of fresh on our mind, I do want to point out the fact that PrizePicks is not the only DFS platform out there. I play a bunch of different platforms. It's advantageous for you to do that because let's say, okay, I really like this Terry Rozier line. Now it got bumped up to 4. I don't want to just force it at 4. If it's available at different places at the same line I was liking it. And Dabble's kind of one of those places that I go to a lot of the times when certain plays on PrizePicks are bumped because they don't bump their lines as quickly. They're not as big of a company. They actually have better payout systems than PrizePicks. PrizePicks is really big right now. They're the biggest DFS platform out there. They can get away with having, a little bit worse lines because of the volume they have in terms of players. Dabble, they're fighting for a spot. They're going to give us good lines. They give us good payouts, and we see that each and every day over on Dabble. So if you want to get that Rozier line at 3.5 field goals made, take it over on Dabble. If you don't have Dabble, use my code RICHDFS when signing up. You're going to get $25 instantly. You don't even have to put a credit card in, but if you deposit $10, I can get you a free month on my Discord as well. So kind of a win-win situation there. If you go ahead and do that, definitely let me know that you use my code. Comment something down below or join the free part of the Discord and just let me know, send me a screenshot, and I'll get you right into that free month of the Discord community. It's a whole lot of fun, and we're having a whole bunch of laughs in there, whole bunch of success, and again, it's the entertainment at the end of the day, getting into a community with a bunch of like-minded people that like sports. It's fun to converse with them, and again, easy to get in here for plenty of free months and things like that. So Dabble, really, really cool one. They also have really good value. If you take a look at PrizePicks right now, this is, again, market value. What lines do they have on PrizePicks? We can see a couple of these lines, esports lines specifically, 55, 54, 54. There's 3 lines that are above a 54.2% hit rate to go over or to go under to hit, essentially. And if you look at Dabble, just showing you the value-wise, they have a ton of lines over 54%. You can see, I don't even know how many that was, probably 15 or so. And again, you look at some college football, they have NHL, they have NBA here. Looks like Derek White lines are going to be looking good without Jason Tatum in the lineup now. I think he had a really good line Maybe it got moved, but they have a ton of value, and it's very easy to see on something like DG Fantasy where you can take a look at market value. A lot of these lines are going to be valued at a push, yes, but some of these lines are not going to be valued at a push. Lamar Jackson under 26.5 pass attempts. A lot of these books that have him at 26.5 heavily favoring this under in something that should not be on a fixed payout system like Dabble is, like PrizePicks is as well. So take a look at Dabble. They've been one of our favorite apps, just to show it off one more time. Did a little bit of a strategy here where I do 6-mans and my favorite 5-mans and then my favorite 3-mans of those 5-mans. And we hit back-to-back 26x plays just a few days ago. So haven't been playing too heavy because of the lower NBA schedule with the in-season tournament. We've only had 5 games the past 3 days. But yeah, super excited to get back on Dabble and continue grinding out this strat. So definitely check them out. RichDFS is the code when you sign up. That was way longer than I expected to explain Dabble, but let's move along to our next play here. And it's going to be a first half play. You know we love that over on this channel. 11.5 first half points, rebounds, and assists for Jaden Ivey. Again, Tatum just got ruled out, so I expect this spread to be a little bit closer. And the Pistons usually keep this game pretty close. They're much better than when they were last year when they were laughingstock of the entire league. They got definitely some solid talent over there with Ivy. Obviously, Cade Cunningham kind of coming into his own. Duren is a big man down low. Oscar Thompson coming back as well. They've missed him for a little bit. So I expect this one to be a little bit gritty. Detroit likes to play Boston. They like to keep things close. They were almost a team that lost the 24-game losing streak or whatever it was. Detroit almost beat Boston. I know they almost beat a lot of teams, but I think they were up like 20 points, ended up blowing that, going to overtime, and then, of course, losing to Boston eventually. But my point here is Jaden Ivey and the Pistons do like to play Boston, and they do keep things close. So I don't expect this to be a huge blowout. But regardless, we're going to first half anyway. 11.5 first half PRA. Let's take a look at Jaden Ivey. Really good hit rate so far this year. 67% of games he's gone over this. I know I've talked about it a few times for a lot of these plays, home versus away. And Jaden Ivey seems to be the guy that consistently steps up when they are away. 11 of 13 games on the road, going up against any team in the league this year is a very good hit rate. Not something to look over. And head-to-head, we do like to see this as well. 4 or 5 games, 80%. 2 of those being this year, where you had 23 first half PRA and then just crept over with 12 PRA last game. Now again, no Tatum in this one. I think Tatum didn't play. Actually, I know Tatum didn't play because I went to the game in this one, so he did creep over there. That was a big Cade Cunningham first half, and that was another one where Jaylen Brown was going crazy. But I do think Jaden Ivey in a really good position here, going up against Boston away, a guy that steps up in away games, and not the best in terms of points allowed, rebounds allowed, assists allowed, but in terms of point guards, shooting guards, it does get a little bit weaker, even though they have great guard defenders over there in Boston. So Jaden Ivey, kind of ramming this point, really liking him specifically because of the home versus away stats. He is away today, and then the head-to-head versus Boston, he's played really well as well. And then while we're talking about this Detroit versus Boston game, let's see if I stalled long enough to get some Celtics lines up, and it looks like we did. So Tatum got ruled out. They yanked everything off the board from us, but it looks like we're getting some Celtics lines, so let me do a little bit of digging, see if I can find some good spots, especially with Tatum being out. Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Porzingis, all potential guys to attack here. And yeah, I think it's going to be Jaylen Brown here. I'm going to go to his first half PRA at 18.5. So first half plays for both these teams. Even though I think this one could potentially stay close, there is an 11.5 spread here, so there is blowout potential. So that's good for the first half plays. But I think Jaylen Brown, 18.5, first half PRA without Jason Tatum, looking really good. So we're not going to get too much market value on this because not a lot of books have this first half PRA line. But we can take a look at it on Outlier. 58% hit rate so far this year, which I do like to see. I also looked at his normal PRA for the full game. Also looking pretty good, just not as good of a hit rate in terms of for the entire year. But without Jason Tatum, he did go over in the one game, and that was against Detroit, where he had a really big first half. So let's focus on the first half. I get sidetracked here a lot, but let's go to the first half. That's what we're focusing on. 58% games, he has gone over this. 2 head-to-head games so far against Detroit this year. Crushed this line, 23 and 30 PRA in the first half. Also dating back to last year, he went over in both these games as well. Now let's take a look at games that are at home. Really liking that as well. 64% of games at home, he's crushed this line as well. And then the big thing here, without Jason Tatum, he's only played 1 game. But dating back to last year, there's been 7 games, and he went over in all 7 games without Jason Tatum. So that's going to be the pivot here for me, kind of on the fly. Jaylen Brown, first half, 18.5 PRA. And then moving into the 5th and final play here, it was going to be this combo rebounds line that was at 22.5. I don't mind it at 23. Honestly, I think you can play it. Missy and Sabonis, both dudes that are really, really good rebounders. I've got the outlier pages. Obviously, Missy, a rookie, but you can see the time he's obviously getting more and more minutes, especially as these injuries pile up for the Pelicans. You can see no Javonte Green, no Robinson Earl, no Ingram, obviously no Zion's been out, Alvarado. So he's going to get a ton of time. Even with Zion and Ingram out, this goes up to a 57% hit rate with kind of a high of 14, a low of 5. But I think if this game stays relatively close, it's a 7-point spread, probably more of like a low of 8. And then Sacramento doesn't allow a whole bunch of rebounds, specifically just overall, but to the center position, 28th ranked in terms of rebounds allowed. So Missy could be in a really good spot here to grab 12, 13, 14 rebounds would be amazing, especially for that combo line, meaning Sabonis will only have to grab, 11 or 12 to cash this line, and we know Sabonis loves to cash this line. I'm going to also show you this first half play for Sabonis. I've done it for a lot of first half plays today, so I don't want to pile up on that, but I think this is a really good spot for him. But let's take a look quickly at his rebounds line to complete this combo. A lot of books have them at 13, 13.5, 12.5. They're kind of all over the place. We know Sabonis is one of the best rebounders in the league, averaging 12.74. And then he's got the Pelicans today, obviously banged up. No big guys down there. Robinson Earl, I mean, Missy's big, but no Robinson Earl, no Zion, no Ingram guys that would probably be battling him for rebounds. They don't have a very, very good center rotation anyway, which is why Missy gets so much time. But Missy's a big dude that Sabonis is going to have to go up against, but he's a much more experienced player here, and he can rebound really against anyone. High of 20 on the season, low of 7 here, but again, that's kind of an outlier, more like a low of 10. And again, going up against a team that does allow a whole bunch of rebounds, he's in a pretty good spot here, especially considering the fact that 7-point game. Hopefully this one stays close, gets a whole bunch of minutes, and can grab some boards. So I don't mind the combo here for Sabonis and Missy. Right here at 23. I like the 22.5 more, but things are going to bump. That's going to happen. But again, I don't want to pile up all in the first half plays, but I do like Sabonis' first half fantasy score. First half fantasy score, I think is what it is. I think it's first half fantasy score. Since Malik Monk has entered the starting lineup here, finally, he's been killing it. He actually has been outspoken about why he likes to have Monk in the starting lineup. Another guy that he can grab an offensive rebound, kick out 2 on the 3, and Monk's been shooting really, really good. So no surprise here that they are playing really, really well together. And past, I don't even know how many games that is, last 10 games, over in 7 of 10 games, including 7 of the last 8 games. And again, really easy matchup here for a big dude like Sabonis going up against the Pelicans. I don't mind this play at all either. So kind of 2 different ways to play this with Sabonis involved. If you like the combos rebounds, if you think Missy's going to go in there, grab 10, 11, 12, even 14 sometimes. Go ahead and do that for the combos. But I think I'm favoring this fantasy score line for Sabonis with Malik Monk now in the starting lineup. And I totally get if you don't want to do a ton of first half plays. So I do want to point out for that combo rebounds line, the RotoWire projection model that I like to go to has 12.03 for Missy. And then for Sabonis, they're looking like rebounds, if I can find them right here. They're looking like 14, almost 15. So that's more close to, 27 combo rebounds. And we just need 23 for the push. So definitely a solid spot there if you don't want to pile up on these first half plays. So that's going to do it for this one. Again, talked about 4, 5, or 6 plays, I guess, if you count the rebounds line and the first half play for Sabonis. Really liking all these. Again, some things can get bumped. So it looks like RJ did get bumped already to 24.0 rather than 24.5. I was also looking at his rebounds and points line at 31.5. So if you want to pivot to that, that's probably a better market value play. Don't just squeeze in this 24 line. Again, sometimes that will ruin a slip for you because you played a bump. In this scenario, it's going to a more of a push line, so it didn't go to 23.5. That wouldn't ruin it for you. If you got 24, it would just be a push. But I probably like his 31.5 points and rebounds under, a little bit better than the points at this point, just because it's better market value after that bump. Really liking all these plays, really liking all these reads. Again, a couple first half plays we threw in there for today. I think Rozier is getting a little disrespected. Jaden Ivey plays really well on away games, and playing against Boston, he plays really well against. Same thing for Jaylen Brown with no Tatum, but specifically against the Pistons, he plays really, really well, especially in that first half. Missy and Sabonis, great opportunities for both of them. And then RJ, just a tough matchup on a road game here going up against Miami. And again, emphasis on away games. He does not play as well on away games. So that's going to do it for me on this one. Again, if you're not on PrizePicks, definitely use code RichPicks when signing up. You're going to get a free month of my Discord when you go ahead and do so, and you're going to get $50 instantly. All you got to do is bet $5 after using my code. Also, check out Dabble. We talked about the RJ Barrett line, or not the RJ Barrett line, the Terry Rozier line at 3.5 field goals made. That's what we wanted to go to. Got bumped to 4 on PrizePicks, but still available on something like Dabble. Dabble's got ridiculously good market value. You can see all the plays that are 54% or higher. This obviously is going to move throughout the day, but Derek White under threes, maybe don't go to that just because Tatum's out today. But you even got some NHL here. Nylander over his shots on goal. I don't love going to the push potential lines, but pass attempts for Lamar Jackson, that's looking like a good market value play. Not too hot right now, but sometimes this is just all green. And Dabble, again, not a smaller company and not a ton of games going on today, so makes sense that there's not a ton of value, but more than something like PrizePicks, more than something like Underdog, just because it's a smaller company and they got to compete somehow, and they give us good lines, better payouts as well over there, and we've been killing it on Dabble. Really excited to get like a big slate and really attack Dabble when we have a ton of market value. But definitely check them out. At the very least, it's a good way to get into the Discord for a free month. Use code RICHDFS when signing up and check us out. We have a whole lot of fun. People always talking here, talking sports, talking props, talking lines, sharing their slips. You can go ahead and ask ideas out, or put your ideas out there, ask any questions, and people are in here, including myself, to answer any of those. So definitely check us out if you enjoyed this video, this content, this kind of stuff. That's a good way to get engraved in a community. That's going to do it for me. I will see you guys tomorrow, back in the grind here with all the games starting up. Huge slate of games tomorrow, so hopefully a bunch of value out there for us. And that'll do it. Leave the video a like, comment something down below, and subscribe if you're new.